We often hear the same advice: follow your passion. But what if that's only half the story? Our next guest says passion by itself isn't enough. And in his new book, Find Your X Factor, best-selling author Paul Comfort helps people uncover what he calls their personal treasure map to purpose. And we're joined by Paul now. Welcome to Great Day Washington. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Elaine.
Of course. So follow your passion. Speaking of school, we often hear that at like graduation ceremonies, right? Follow your passion. And I know you have spoken at commencements. You've had a commencement speech, but you have a different message a little bit about following your passion. That's just half the equation.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the idea, right? If you're 5'1" and you want to be a forward in the NBA, it doesn't matter how passionate you are about it, you're not going to be able to do it.
Very good point.
Because it's not just your interests, it's your abilities. And that's the theory of the X Factor. You have to find that sweet spot where they intersect.
That's such a good point, right? If you're 5'1", there's only so much your passion will take you. But you say that we can uncover our purpose, and there's a road map to get there. What is that road map? Tell us the secrets.
Yeah, well, I think it is actually, I think we're hardwired with certain abilities, right? I was telling you before, I've got grandkids. One of them, Emmett, when he was 4, I could tell already he was mechanical. He's looking at lamps in our living room, trying to take them apart. And so he's got a bent toward a certain thing, right? An interest. And then when you combine that with his abilities, that, I think, is the sweet spot for your life and career. The intersection of what you're passionate about, the things that make time just fly, and the things that other people have said you're good at, that you've been acknowledged for. When you can find where they intersect, you wake up every morning like Edison. He said, I never worked a day in my life. It was all fun because he was doing what he loved and what he was good at. That is where you find your purpose in life. It's at where they intersect, and you will experience great unity of spirit in your heart, and you get power that way, and you get enjoyment, and you wake up with fire in the belly when you operate there in your X Factor.
100%, right? But not everybody can get there or has gotten there. There's this saying, many are successful on paper, but miserable on a Monday, right? We all want to like love our jobs and just feel so great about it. But what do you say to people who feel that way? Like, how do they know if it's time for change? Maybe that's not their real purpose.
Yeah, right. No, there's a lot. 70% of people say they're generally unhappy at work in some polls. So I wrote a chapter in a book called When You Hate Your Job, because I had a job I hated. It was miserable. And I remember telling my wife when I went home, I hate my job. And I never say that. I'm an optimistic guy. But it's because I was only operating in one vein of that X Factor. I was operating my abilities, but it wasn't my interest. It wasn't what I was passionate about. So the key is, don't blow up your life. Just find something in the job that you can enjoy and try to lean into it. Volunteer like I did. I'll do new employee orientation. That's something. I'm a people person. I like being in front of them. So that's the trick, I think, is to lean into it while you look. Don't jump out of the frying pan into the fire and make your life worse than it is now.
Right.
You got to have a job, right? At least until we don't have any jobs when AI's taking over. But, but until then, we need to have a job.
Yeah, so, but that is really great advice. In the meantime, lean into what you're good at. Lean into what you like. What about someone who loses their job? What do you say to them? They might feel really disoriented.
I say use it as a pivot point. It's happened to me a couple times. I've been laid off of one job and another job, moved out for political reasons. And first thing I had to do is realize I don't want to identify too much with my title, because then I feel like my identity's been ripped away, and I don't want to give that much power to anyone else. And then secondly, take time to sit down at that moment and analyze, what are my key interests, what are my key abilities, write them down. That's what the book helps you do, and then circle where they intersect and start moving in that direction. Use it as an opportunity for a new beginning.
Okay, great advice. As we wrap up here, I know you have 6 kids. What did you tell them before they even got in the job market to avoid this sort of slump that some people find themselves in?
Yeah, I think hard work is key. A lot of people are lazy, in my opinion, especially young people. I've got a bunch of them. They're not. They're all hard workers. And so I think focusing, the power of focus and the power of hard work, and then aligning yourself with that alignment that we've talked about is key to success.
All right. Great advice. Thank you so very much. I want to let everyone know that the official launch party for Paul's new book is Tuesday, August 11th at 6 p.m. at Cult Classic Brewery on Kent Island. To learn more or to get a copy of Find Your X Factor, visit his website, paulcomfort.org.